Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today my deku was reincarnated into Minecraft. So, in the last video, Deku, after, going into the island, he met some of the locals, specifically some iron golems, and turns out that the island well, housed a village. This village was called Ashwood. After meeting some of the locals and also getting a special book, that village was attacked by one of the villager cult members named Canis and his brand new and created redstone golem, which almost destroyed everybody, but thankfully Izuku and the help of well Rose and Weiss, they defeated them. After leaving the village because, he was, done exploring it and also being called the town hero, they left with, Olga, which apparently she couldn't go into the village because, she is a zombie. And because she's, also an abnormal, she couldn't go in even though she's not really like normal zombies all that much. So, after that part, we moved on to a different perspective where God is talking to the My Hero Academia characters, which, apparently in the war, which is the war arc, the war arc basically happened earlier, and when they actually did the war arc, they actually destroyed they literally destroyed Japan basically. So God had to reincarnate them, or at least some of them, and some of them would go to hell, and some of them would go to heaven. Like, for example, All Might would go to heaven, and for Bakugo, he would go to hell. He would go straight to the border rooms of hell, like, all the way down to the hell. Like, all the way down to the lowest pits of hell where the most horrible of sinners go to. So, for the rest, like, for example, some of the members of the League of Villains, except for, All for One and Shigaraki, they would go to the Minecraft world where Izuku is currently in. And also Class 1A and Class 1B, except for Bakugo, obviously, and also Mineta, because, and finally the Gaunt is also going to be going to the My Hero Academia verse. And so, they basically get teleported there, or should I say more brought a door. That's where they can actually go into the place of, of the My Hero Academia, not My Hero Academia, I meant Minecraft world, as they basically go in, as they get teleported there. So, yeah, that was basically the end of that episode, and so, let's talk about what happens next. So, apparently all of you didn't decide on names for these three mobs that I posted on my community tab. I told all of you guys on my community tab to ask for I literally wanted to ask for some names for these three mobs, being a slime, a spider, and an ocelot slash cat, because apparently ocelots and cats are now separate. But I wanted all of you to pick names for them, okay? Anyway, I want all of you guys to pick names for these two mobs this time. This time being the ocelot slash cat and the spider, because I already have a name in place for the slime, and so all of you guys are going to be commenting down below for the name of the spider and the ocelot slash cat, okay? Please, for God's sake. Anyway, and so let's talk about the actual episode. So, Izuku is basically trekking through a swampy area this time, where they're riding on boats. As for their horse, or the skeleton horse that they gotten from Weiss, Weiss was using the horse while what's her face? Olga is basically just riding on the horse with her. As for Rose, she just just walks underwater because she basically doesn't have a respiratory system. She's basically a robot, or at least in my eyes. I just imagine iron golems in game being robots instead of actual living beings with the ability to eat. So After like trekking through the swamp, they see something weird. They see a large hut. Not really large, it's more like a medium-sized hut. As Izuku says this, "Hey guys, I think I see something. Is that a hut?" As one of them said this, "Please do not go there," says Olga. As Izuku says this, "Why?" As she says this, "There's witches." As Izuku would say this, "Wait, witches?" So witches live in this world as well. As she says this, "Exactly. Witches are also a part of the pillager cult, and if you go there, you're basically gonna be damned to hell." As he says this, "It couldn't be that bad." So Izuku goes in and sees nobody. Nobody is there. As he looks around and sees a skeleton. Not a, well, living skeleton like the mob, but instead a skeleton of a witch. Apparently, it's still wearing its clothes. As Izuku looks through, like the whole place, as he sees a book. This book is titled Diary. As Izuku would say, because nobody is like living here, or at least anybody that's like, alive here, I should just check it out. As he starts reading through it, apparently the diary says that this witch was trying to make a potion of eternal life, but she kind of, well, mixed the ingredients a bit too much and caused an explosion that killed her. Yeah, apparently her final words were, "God damn it, I wish I could have like made a potion earlier." And Izuku decides to keep this book in case if that happens again. If that literally happens to him. And so he looks around and sees a brewing stand. He doesn't know what it is, but decides to keep it, and so he puts it on his chest as he goes through um another part of like the little shack and sees some supplies, specifically food, and sees some weird stuff. He sees spider eyes, some of this weird looking fungi, and there seems to be this powder. This powder seems to be hot to the touch, almost like it's blazing. If you don't get that, it's blaze powder. Anyway, so after he took on everything, he goes back as he goes down to his boat as they start leaving. So, in the forest, Izuku feels like somebody's watching them. And it's not Olga, Weiss, and, Rose. He looks around, and he sees the purple eyes again. And all of you guys decided to give, well, the Enderman girl a name, or the abnormal Enderman. And so, I dubbed her as Pearl, because, Ender Pearl. I love that pun. Thanks for the commenter who actually picked that name. So, wait for a second. So, after looking at that, well, light, or that purple light coming from her eyes again, she doesn't teleport. Because, after all, they're in a swamp, and you know what the swamp is known for? Large bodies of water, which also means that she can't go near him. Like, can't go near him because, it's the place is filled with water. So, he's thankful for that. So, they started trekking on, well, none of them would, like, notice, Pearl. Like, every single girl in, like, Izuku's group doesn't notice her. Like, they don't notice her at first. But Izuku does notice her because of her glowing purple eyes. And when they did actually go on to land, she teleports right in front of Izuku. As everybody in like Izuku's group starts getting ready to fight. As she just grabs Izuku, just like carrying him just like a baby, and basically teleports like teleports out of there with Izuku. As Olga would say, "Hey, what did that?" As one of them said this, being wise, is that Enderman, a abnormal one at that. As the Iron Golem by the name of Rose would start getting angry. Because I did tell all of you guys that she can't really talk or anything like that. She's just like, not really emotionless. It's more like you know, she doesn't, have the ability to talk. Because, well, she's technically more of a robot than anything else, but still. Anyway, so, after getting teleported, Izuku was brought to a cave, as this cave is filled with this weird looking substance. He doesn't feel anything for now, or at least anything like now, right now. But he does feel something. It feels like metal, like a cage. As he lets a torch, as he sees, well, that he's in a cage, and there's several cages around him, and one of them contains a skeleton, not a Bob skeleton, an actual skeleton of a villager, which kind of creeps him out, and he moves back a little bit as he feels something slimy, something weird, feeling like he's about to die. As he looks up and sees green eyes looking over him, as Izuku screams, as that slime thing just covers his mouth with, like, slime, as this thing talks, as she says this, whoa, 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 hey, calm down, I don't really want to fight. I just wanted to ask, who are you exactly? And it seems that you're a reincarnator. So, I've been watching you for a while, or at least my friend has been watching you for a while now. As Izuku just, like, throws the slime away and says this, who the hell are you? You're the one who kidnapped me. I should be the one asking you questions. As, well, the woman, being the Ender Woman, or the, abnormal Enderman, says this, so, we meet again, my amour. As Izuku would say this, uh, please, can you get me out of this cage? I just have to go back to my friends. As this slime girl says this, sorry, but no, we're gonna be talking first. What the hell? I just heard something, wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, she says this, sorry, but no, I want to talk to you a little bit. So, I was wondering, what's it like in your world? As he says this, why exactly? As she says this, just tell me the question. As she grabs a book, as Izuku notices that she's wearing a white lab coat. Wait for a second. That she's wearing a white lab coat, and she seems to be wearing glasses. As Izuku would say, so, why are you asking me these questions exactly? As she says this, well, I've been wondering about this world that you came from. I've been wondering about what these reincarnators came from. Ever since our God created us, I've been wondering about what these other worlds were like. As he says this, well, that's pretty interesting. As he grabs something from his pocket, which is a little, like, knife, a serrated one that's specialized in, well, getting out of, like, certain situations. And so he starts, filing at the, the cage. As, well, she's, like, rambling on. God dang it, just wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, after he files away at the, cage, he kicks down the, bar and starts escaping. As she says this, come on. Hey, Pearl, can you try and catch him? After all, you did say that you like him. I mean, you literally sound like a yandere, or whatever John said to me. I mean, you look exactly like that type of person. As she says this, being Pearl. Whatever. I'll try and take away his inhibitions and make him love me. Now, see ya. Wait for a second. Maria. As she teleports away, Izuku tried to escape, wielding his actually, he doesn't have his axe. As he realizes that he left it near the chest that he usually keeps it, like he accidentally left his chest when he was going onto that part of the land of the swamp, and so he tries to escape. As well, Pearl catches up to him, as she pins him to a wall. As Izuku would say this, "Why are you doing this?" As she says this, "Well, because I like you. It's been a long time since I ever seen a person like you, especially because you're a reincarnator." As she grabs her hat, she grabs Izuku's chin, as she looks up at Izuku's face, as she whispers, "I never seen a boy like you in a long time. Ever since I met John." As Izuku would say this, "Who the hell is John?" As she says this, "Well, he's a reincarnator. Apparently, he was a great man. A man with many talents. He was similar in ways to, Stephen Stone. But he was not as interesting. He was a scientist, or we prefer to call him a alchemist. But he would insist that he prefers to be called a scientist. He created several advancements in our land. But unfortunately, he died of old age. But I stepped beside him. I stayed beside him. I meant, wait for a second. I stayed beside him when he was in his dying days. I felt sad. Until I met you, a regular old human. A human that's also a reincarnator. But not only that, wielding a certain power. A power wielding. I meant a power that's inside of you that you never realized. Now, will you love me?" As Izuku would say this, "Will you what?" As she says this, "Like I said, will you love me? And only me." As Izuku would say this, "Are you crazy? I mean, we're not even we're not even in a relationship yet." Or as she says this, "Would you like to?" As Izuku would still be terrified that he would get, by her. As they hear the sounds of someone familiar. As they hear this, "Izuku, here!" As she throws an axe at him, being the same netherite axe that he usually used to fight other people or mobs. As Izuku sees that well, wait for it, Olga. As Olga would say, "Hey, Izuku, did you grab the axe?" As Izuku grabs it and says this, "Now, get away from me." As she says this, being, not Rose, I meant, Ruby. Not Ruby. I meant Pearl. God damn it. I think it's because of, Steven Universe. God damn it. Anyway, so, um, I meant Pearl. God damn it. Pearl would say this, "Oh, you're trying to fight me? Very well." As she grabs a rapier. A rapier is basically like a fencing sword or whatever, or a sword that's preferred for stabbing. Not like a knife, it's more like a long sword. So, she swings back as she thrusts at Izuku. Izuku would dodge the attack as he would jump across, as he lands a blow on her. A blow that, well, she teleports from. As Izuku would say, ah, are you serious? Oh yeah, she can teleport. As she says this, you really think that you can ever beat me? I have the ability of teleportation, but not only that. As she grabs something from her pocket. As it's a gun. Yes, a gun. Anyway, so wait for it. She grabs a gun and shoots it at Izuku's legs as he feels immense pain. As he says this, how the hell did you make a gun? As she says this, oh, John told me to make one. It's pretty interesting. It's like a bow, but stronger and much more powerful. It has the same type of ammunition, similarly to a crossbow, but it's much faster and much more deadlier. As Rose would block the attack from, well, Pearl, as Olga would say, you bastard, as she grabs her swords and gets ready to slash at her, but she teleports away. As she says this, I guess it's enough. Now, I'll be going back to Maria. See ya. As she blows a kiss, teleporting away. As Weiss would say this, Izuku, are you okay? As Izuku would say this, ow, damn, that gun, Jesus. As she says this, don't worry, I'll try and carry you. As Rose would carry Izuku instead. As both of them would say, hey, that's quite unfair. As Izuku would say this, just, just, let's just go. Ow, my legs, it feels like hell. And so, they basically started leaving. So, when we go back to Pearl, Pearl is back at their home base, which Izuku never knows the layout of it, as she would say this to Maria, being the slime girl, or the scientist like slime, as she says this. So, Maria, why were you so interested in him? I thought you were not interested in him anymore. Since, well, John died. As she says this, well, until I saw him, I thought of something of a great idea. Maybe we should start making this laser thing from this book that, wait for a second, that John gave to us when he was about to, die. As she, looks at it and sees a book about a powerful laser and about the protagonist being a exiled person that also has the power to control minds. If you get that reference, then you probably know Code Geass. Yeah. Anyway, so after being told of this, she says this. So, you want to create this laser, right, Maria? As she says this. Yep. So we can finally have some world peace and no more of that, well, pillager cult stuff. As she says this. Interesting. Now, let us get some rest now. As she says this. Alright, Pearl. So, they basically gone to sleep. Now, let's go to a different perspective. Being the perspective of the reincarnated, Class 1A, Class 1B, and some of the League of Villain members, and also Lady the Gaunt. Anyway, so let's begin this part. As they get teleported into a nearby lake, as Class 1A just says this, why did God bring us over here? As Lady Gaunt just grabs them, and also some of Class 1B, except for Motoba, because, Motoba thinks that because that Class 1B is no longer in My Hero Academia or the My Hero Academia world, they think that they're superior now. Or at least that's what he thinks. And also for the League of Villains, because they're no longer, villains, and it doesn't matter if they basically fight each other, because that would be a bad idea. They basically decide to help them out. Wait for a second. Lady the Gaunt would say this. Alright, kids, Because I'm the oldest one here, you're going to be the one that's listening to me. As one of them would say this. One of them would say this. Hey, how are we going to trust you? I mean, you literally tried to kill us. Says, Kaminari. As she would say this. That would be foolish for me to just kill you off. Besides, we're now reincarnated. We can basically do whatever the hell we want now. And besides, if we do try to kill each other, that would be pointless. And so they basically started moving to a different area as they see something in the distance. They see a large, city. Not really city, it's more like a large village that's filled with a tightly packed community of houses. As one of them would say this. So that's a city. Huh, the architecture seems to be more European styled, says Ida. As one of them would say this. Yeah, it definitely feels like we're in an isekai anime. As all of them would just look at Kaminari. As they would say this. Are you serious, Kaminari? As Kaminari would say this. Oh, come on, I'm such a weeb. I mean, it definitely feels like we're in an anime. Starts looking at the camera. Anyway, so. Wait for a second. So, after doing that, they basically start going into this village. As they see that these villagers seem to be a bit different than their typical, humans. They see that these, villagers seem to have large noses and seem to be, well, they prefer to, put their hands in their sleeves because, they're villagers. As one of them would say this, being Monoma. So, can you please tell us where we are? As he says this. Oh, nice to meet you. Welcome to the village of, wait for a second. The village of Yemen. As they would say this. Yemen? As they would say this. Yes, Yemen. As they would say this. Okay. As Lady Gaunt negotiates with him, as he says this. Okay, if you want to live here, then you should start getting a job, maybe becoming a farmer or butcher or something like that. As one of them would say this, I'll gladly become a butcher. Says what's his name? Being Kirishima. As one of them would say this, why would you want to become a butcher? As he would say this, I mean, I guess it's kind of an easy job. As a old man appears, as he says this, so you youngins are reincarnators. Nice to meet you. I'm the elder of this lovely town of Yemen. So, I want you to go over there to the town hall. It's right next to the bell. And so they started moving to the going to the town hall. As they see the mayor of the town, as he says this. So you must be reincarnators. It's nice to meet you. You can just call me, Alistair. So, because you're reincarnators, I want all of you to, do your own separate parts. As they would say this. Alright. So, everybody was assigned their specific jobs. Like, for example, Class 1B, or at least half of Class 1B, will become farmers, and the other would become butchers, while Class 1A would become artisans, and also some of them would become, well, I don't know what to call them. Actually, yeah, alchemists. Especially Momo, because of her, creation quirk, she could probably make some modern, tools for them. And it would be a big help for them as well. And so, for Lady Nagant and some of the League of Villain members, they would, do some, watchman work. As Toga would say this. Huh, so I'm going to be a watchman. Weird. As she realizes that she doesn't have the urge to drink blood anymore. As she would say this out loud. As one of them would say this, being, well, Dobby would say this. I think God decided to give you a blessing for you not to become a freaking psychopath anymore. As she would say this. What did you say? As she grabs a knife. as the Nagant would just bonk their heads as they would, as she would say this. Alright, if both of you want to fight, then go over there. As they would say this. Fine. So, after a while in the village, they basically feel like they're at home now. And so, it's basically nighttime. As the bell would ring, as everybody started going back to their homes. As some of Class 1A, Class 1B, and also, actually, let's just call them the rest of the members of the reincarnators that are not Izuku's group, they would say that they're gonna be going to sleep. And so they started realizing that they don't have a house. And so they decided to make their own house. So they basically start cutting down trees with the help of Momo creating axes, which is pretty easy for them to make. And so they basically started making these houses and basically started sleeping in them. There's one for Class 1A, Class 1B, and also for the League of Villains slash Lady Megans. And so they all basically go to sleep. And so this is going to be the end of this episode. But before you leave, I want all of you guys to pick names for the spider and the cat slash Neko girl that's going to be in the next episode of What If Deku was reincarnated into Minecraft. Okay? Good. And so, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and also don't forget to like the video so you can support my channel. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!